The village of Abina, nestled on the shores of the vast Lake Osori, was a place steeped in ancient lore. The elders spoke of spirits that dwelt in the depths, of creatures both wondrous and terrifying. Among these tales were whispers of the Mami water, the alluring mermaid with scales that shimmered like moonlight on water, Akwasi, a young fisherman with a heart full of bravado, scoffed at these stories. Old wife tales, he would declare, casting his net wide with a confident grin. Just stories to frighten children. One day, while mending his nets on the shore, Akwasi felt a strange pull towards the lake. The water, usually a vibrant turquoise, seemed to shimmer with an ethereal glow. As he gazed into its depths, he gasped. Emerging from the swelling waters was a sight that defied belief. A creature of breathtaking beauty, with skin the color of polished jade and hair like spun moonlight, rose gracefully from the depths. Her eyes, the color of the deepest ocean, held a captivating allure. Akwasi, forgetting his bravado, was utterly mesmerized. He watched as the mermaid glided towards the shore, her movements fluid and graceful. She reached the sandy beach, her tail shimmering like 1,000 diamonds. For a long moment, they simply gazed at each other, an unspoken understanding passing between them. The mermaid, her voice, her haunting melody, spoke in a language Akwasi didn't understand, yet somehow he knew what she was saying. She spoke of the loneliness of her underwater world, of the yearning for human companionship. Akwasi, captivated by her beauty and her gentle spirit, felt a strange longing he couldn't explain. He yearned to know her, to explore the world beneath the waves with her. Over the next few days, Akwasi found himself drawn to the lake like a moth to a flame. He would spend hours gazing at the surface, waiting for her to appear, and appear she did, each time more enchanting than the last. They would spend hours in silent communion, their eyes conveying 1,000 unspoken words. Akwasi learned to understand her language, a mixture of whispers and sighs, of gestures and emotions. The villagers, initially amused by Akwasi's newfound fascination with the lake, grew concerned. They warned him of the dangers of the Mami water, of her seductive magic, and the inevitable outbreak that would follow. They spoke of the many young men who had succumbed to her allure, their lives forever intertwined with the mysterious depths, only to emerge, if at all, as hollow shells of their former selves. Akwasi, his grandmother, Mama Hadua, cautioned, her voice grave. The Mami water is not a creature of this world. Her beauty is a trap, a siren song that leads only to despair. Do not let yourself be ensnared by her charms. Akwasi, however, dismissed their warnings. He believed that his love for the mermaid was genuine, a connection that transcended the boundaries of their worlds. He saw not a dangerous creature, but a lonely soul yearning for companionship. He saw beauty, not a trap. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the lake, the mermaid appeared. She was more radiant than ever, her scales shimmering with an ethereal glow. She beckoned him towards the deeper waters, her eyes filled with a longing that mirrored his own. "Come," she urged, her voice a silken whisper. "Come with me to a place of wonder, a place where we can be together forever." Akwasi, his heart pounding with excitement, hesitated. He thought of his village, his family, his life on the shore. But the pull of the mermaid's magic was too strong to resist. He took a deep breath, plunged into the cool depths, and followed her into the unknown. The underwater world was a spectacle of colors and sounds. Corals shimmered like jewels, schools of fish darted through the water, and sunlight filtered through the surface, creating a kaleidoscope of hues. They swam deeper and deeper, past kelp forests swaying gently in the current, past caves adorned with bioluminescent creatures. Finally, they reached the grotto, a magnificent cavern adorned with pearls and shimmering stones. It was a breathtaking sight, a palace fit for a queen. The water within the grotto shimmered with an otherworldly light, illuminating the intricate patterns of the coral formations. The mermaid, overjoyed, embraced Aquasi. Her touch, however, was unlike anything he had ever experienced. It was both exhilarating and terrifying, a jolt of pure energy that seemed to seep into his very bones. He felt his skin begin to harden, his limbs turning to scales. He was becoming one of them, trapped in a world that was not his own. The mermaid, horrified by what she had done, wept. "I am so sorry, Akwasi," she sobbed, her voice filled with anguish. "I did not mean for this to happen. My touch, my very essence, is a curse to any mortal." Akwasi, now a creature of the deep, felt a searing pain consume him. His lungs burned, his body aching with the unfamiliar pressure of the water. He looked at the mermaid, his love for her undiminished, despite the agony he was enduring. "It's all right," he rasped, his voice rough and unfamiliar. "I am with you. That's all that matters." The mermaid, her heart heavy with guilt, led him deeper into the grotto, to a hidden alcove where he could rest. She brought him the most succulent seaweeds, the sweetest pearls, and shared with him the wonders of her underwater world. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. Akwasi, now known as Akwasi Moatia, the waterman, adapted to his new life. He learned to breathe underwater, to hunt for food, to navigate the intricate currents of the lake. He explored the hidden depths with the mermaid, discovering a world of vibrant colors, fantastical creatures, and hidden wonders. He learnt the language of the dolphins, the secrets of the ancient sea turtles, and the wisdom of the wise old octopus. He witnessed the breathtaking spectacle of the coral spawning, the mesmerizing dance of the jellyfish, and the awe-inspiring migration of the whales. Life in the underwater world was both exhilarating and isolating. Akwasi missed the warmth of the sun on his skin, the feel of the wind in his ear, the laughter of his people. He missed the familiar scent of the earth, the taste of fresh mangoes, the comforting presence of his grandmother. But most of all, he missed the human touch, the warmth of human companionship. The other creatures of the deep, while fascinating, could not feel the void in his heart. They lacked the warmth, the humor, the shared experiences that had defined his life on land. One day, a school of dolphins, their sleek bodies shimmering in the sunlight, approached Akwasi and the mermaid. They spoke of a distant island where humans and merfolk had once coexisted in harmony. They spoke of a legendary healer, an old woman who lived on the island, said to possess the power to reverse the curse. Hope surged through Akwasi. He and the mermaid, guided by the dolphins, embarked on a long and arduous journey. They swam for days, navigating treacherous currents and avoiding the clutches of the fearsome sea serpents. Finally, they reached the island. It was a lush paradise, covered in emerald green forest and fringed with pristine beaches. They found the healer, an ancient woman with eyes like the deepest pools of water. The healer listened to their story, her face grave. She explained that the curse was powerful, but not impossible to break. She offered Akwasi a potion, a concoction of rare seaweeds and enchanted moonstones. Drink this, she instructed, and you will be human once again. Akwasi hesitated. He looked at the mermaid, her eyes filled with a mixture of hope and fear. He knew that leaving her would break her heart, but the longing for his old life, for the touch of the sun, for the embrace of his family, was too strong to resist. He drank the potion, and slowly, agonizingly slowly, he began to change. The scales softened, his lines returned to their human shape. He felt the familiar tug of gravity, the cool caress of the hair on his skin. He emerged from the water, gasping for breath, his eyes adjusting to the brilliance of the sunlight. He looked back at the mermaid, who was watching him with a mixture of sadness and relief. "Goodbye, my love," he whispered, his voice hoarse. "I will never forget you." The mermaid, tears streaming down her face, nodded. "Go," she said, her voice barely audible. "Go back to your people. Live a long and happy life." Akwasi, his heart heavy with sorrow, turned and walked away from the shore, leaving behind the world he had come to know, the love he could never forget. He returned to his village, a changed man, forever marked by his encounter with the Mami water. He never forgot the beauty of the underwater world, the wonder of the creatures he had encountered, or the love he had shared with the mermaid. He carried the memory of her with him always, a bittersweet reminder of the magic that lay beneath the surface and the enduring power.